Howdy, and welcome to Broken Tool Garage. This week, we're going to be working on the 318 two-barrel project. Going to be putting valve springs on those cylinder heads. Going to go with a little bit of a performance spring. I'll go through the steps of what to check on those and how I'm installing those and what the springs are. Alright, let's get to putting these valve springs in the cylinder head. Now, we need to pay attention to installed height on there. So what I want to do is I've stolen an idea from TrickFlow. So if you get the TrickFlow 2500-100 kit for the small block Ford, then it comes with a little rod, right, that tells you your installed height, and they have shims that come with it, so if you need to shim it up or whatever, you can get it in there. And I've done the same thing. So we're at a 1.680 installed height, and I made my rod 1.675. So that's 5 thousandths, a little bit shorter, but we'll be okay. I'm not saying I'm making it to this height. I'm using this to check to see if I need to add a shim or not, right? That's what we're doing. We're going to go from there. Well, need to get the head off and get it on the bench, start popping those out, and then once I get a valve out, I'll be able to use that little checker thing in there, and if it looks good, then throw it together. If not, I'll have to figure out how much shimming I need to do, which with that tool right there and a feeler gauge, I can tell if I need to add a 10 or 20, or, you know, maybe it's not high enough. Hopefully it's not that, because you can't put a negative shim in it, unfortunately. But at least I have a tool to go through and check to see how close we are. This isn't going to be some 9,000 RPM crazy top fuel dragster. It's a stock engine with a little bit heavier duty spring. That's what we got going on here. All right, well, let me get to it. The cylinder head that has wimpy stock valve springs in it. That's just not, yeah. Those suck when they put them on there brand new, let alone after who knows how many thousand miles are on them, right? This is a 1990 model cylinder head, so that puts them, what, 30-something years old? Yeah, they're getting replaced. So I got with the machine shop, and they suggested these Howard's springs right here. So that's our number we're going to be putting on. So that would do a mild cam and all that stuff. Not a real big deal right there. 1.680 installed height. I got my little checker tool that I made to put these on, and I'm just going to go ahead and break these open and then make sure that the installed height's right, and just put them in with just some basic tools, pretty much. Well, I got a valve spring compressor, but actually I got a couple valve spring compressors, so I may try different ones out to see which one works best. So we'll just have to stick around and see what kind of silly nonsense we get into with this, huh? All right, our first raining for, I don't know, going on day 2 rain. First tester is the on block setup right here. So I have it clamped to my table, but this makes a lot of torque against the table, right? And it's a wooden table, so it's, you know, going to be rickety unless you, like, yeah, whatever. So this could be set up to work, but it'd have to have something to keep the valve held up, so it'd have to have some sort of plate or puck or something underneath it to keep that on there, and then bolt it down kind of like being on the block. So I like this one. It has a certain job, but the other thing about it, this doesn't lock. So once I do get it to break loose, which it's not even wanting to break loose now because the valve keeps moving. Once I do get that done, well, that's one hand, and I need another hand to get the clips off. So if it doesn't lock, it's not extremely useful. So we're going to try this one. Now the problem with these is these forks like to bend and spread out and do dumb things, and warp this way and break and all that whenever you get to a performance spring. A stock spring, not too big a deal, but that's the tool that I have, and I think this is one I'm going to use. This is just a performance tool. I've used it several times, so we should be good on this. I had higher hopes for that to work, but without having a jig set up on there, it's going to be hard to get that to be something usable the way I have this set up. All right, here is the spring compressor. The whining kitty, because it's raining. So that's kind of how it clamps in and locks into place. Then you can get your keepers out, right here. See, this is why you kind of need two hands, and why that other one, if it don't lock into place, this would just be a huge pain to try to do, and fighting the valve and all kinds of other stuff. So I'm going to need to probably use two hands here, because it's been a dingus. All right, well, I can't do that left-handed for sure. There it is. I took my right hand, and then the spring will come right out. So hold on. We're going to move the lever carefully. Now it's under tension, so you want to make sure you're not shooting that towards your car or anything weird. And then the spring's out. We got a retainer right here, and these locks go in our grooves, right? Get my left hand to work. Oh, I don't hold the camera with the left hand. That'd be a whole lot easier, but whatever. And that's out. Okay, the other little segment is, get my light here. Here's our little measuring stick. And this is actually a two-hand job. So we're going to be coming down to where you see the valve seat right there. Probably should flip it up. And we're measuring between there and the cap. And we're a little tight because it don't fit in nice and good. Now, the other thing, it really helps to have a hand to pull that up to make sure it's good and seated good. But we can get it in there, but it's not perfectly perpendicular to everything. Oh, I see. I got a little machine tip right there. I thought I got that out. So it does fit in there. I need to fix that. That's just embarrassing right there. I said I made a tool that has a little bitty hoo-yah right there, and that's exactly where I didn't measure it. So, where'd that come from? Ah, I see. It's been cut on both ends, and one end didn't get deburred. But anyways, so that will work right there. I'm going to go ahead and get that in and check the intake valve, and then go ahead and throw these springs in there if this compressor will handle it. All right, it got it done. There it is. So this is our old spring here. This is our new spring. So you can see there's a little bit of a size difference there between them. They're close to the same height there. And let's see here. We got our seat here. I kind of want to go over this again because I just don't think that, I don't know, I didn't review the video yet, but this is kind of what you do, is you slap that one in. A lot of times I let it fall because I didn't put grease on it. A lot of times I put grease on it to keep them to hold into place. Essentially, here's our rod right here, and it goes down to the base, and it goes up underneath the cap right at the edge, right where the valve spring sits, right? That little lip in there. You don't want to go to the inner lip. You want to be on this lip right here, and you're measuring that height in between this face and that lip. That's what you're doing with the little rod that you can make to do this. Or you can take it to a machine shop. It's perfectly fine to bring to a machine shop and say, hey, here's my springs, can you put these on the heads? They usually don't charge that much to do that. It's super simple, and they'll check all this out for you. So if you don't want to do that, you can do it this method, or you can go that method. It's not that expensive. Actually, when you get your valve job done on your head, that's when you would bring them all the stuff, and they just quote you everything and done. Perfectly fine to do it that way.